Hello, everyone, and welcome back again to our live coverage of Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft return with the undocking from the International Space Station with the three crew members on board the Soyuz spacecraft. Hope you all are doing fine and excited about the upcoming undocking event of the Soyuz spacecraft. And we hope you checked out the previous stream of the Soyuz MS-26 return, which covered the hatch closure and crew farewell. If not, then it's there on our channel. Do check it out after this stream ends. If this is your first time here, my name is Dipto Mehra. I'll be your friend and host providing the insights and commentary for today's event at the Orbital Laboratory, and you are watching AstroYonder Live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
We are super excited to bring you the coverage of Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft undocking with the three crew members on board from the International Space Station. The Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft undocking with the crew on board is now scheduled for approximately 5:57 p.m. Eastern Daytime, 21:57 hours UTC. Previously, Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft's hatch closed at 2:52 p.m. Eastern Daytime, 18:52 hours UTC, and the crew members are all set up for their departure and undocking from the orbital outpost. The upcoming stream for Soyuz MS-26 is deorbit burn and re-entry followed by the landing is posted on our channel, so don't forget to check them out. The Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft undocking is scheduled for 5:57 p.m. Eastern Daytime, 21:57 hours UTC. The deorbit burn is scheduled for 8:26 p.m. Eastern Daytime, 0:26 hours UTC, and the landing with three crew members on board in Kazakhstan is scheduled for 9:20 p.m. Eastern Daytime, 1:20 hours UTC. Now, before moving on to the details, firstly, on behalf of AstroYonder team and our moderators, we express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone for being a part of today's event. A big thanks to our amazing YouTube community, always being supportive, for being here today as we provide detailed live coverage of space launches and events, complete with extensive stats and thorough insights. We really appreciate you all being here. Again, just a reminder, it's me only managing the live coverages on my own. So if by chance we hit any technical issues, hang tight, but nothing to worry about that. I will do my best to walk you through the event happening in approximately 16 minutes from now. We would love it if you guys can hop into the chat and let us know from where you are tuning in. Also, feel free to drop any questions, suggestions, or share your thoughts as we move ahead. We would love to hear from you and get to know more about you. So, now let's get back into today's event. So, yesterday on Friday, April 18, we had a change of command ceremony. It was when Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexey Ovchinin officially handed over the station command to JAXA astronaut Takua Onishi, marking the start of Expedition 73 that will officially kick off later today when Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft undocks from the Razvet module of the ISS. The Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft launched and docked to the station's Prashal module on September 11, 2024 with a crew of 3 to low Earth orbit with an inclination of 51.66 degrees, which is a common angle for missions to the International Space Station due to its optimal ground coverage and accessibility. Expedition 72 began on 23rd September 2024 with the crew members Butch Wilmore, Sonny Williams as the ISS commander for Expedition 72. The crew members, both of them were the crew members of Boeing Starliner crew flight test, with Roscosmos, Roscosmos cosmonauts Alexey, Ovchinin, and Ivan Vagner, along with NASA astronaut Don Pettit from Soyuz MS-26, joined later by Nick Hague and Roscosmos cosmonaut Alexander Gurbanov from SpaceX Crew 9 back in September 2024. After the return of Crew 9, SpaceX Crew 10 launched on March 14, 2025 and docked with the ISS on March 16 at 12:04 a.m. Eastern Time with crew members Annie McLean, Nicole Ayers, Takuya Onishi, and Kirill Peskov, followed by the recent launch of Soyuz MS-27 launch on 8 April 2025, which docked to the Prashal module of the ISS at 4:57 a.m. Eastern Time with crew members Sergei Rizkov, Alexey Zubritsky, and NASA astronaut Johnny Kim. Upon undocking of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft today, the official beginning of Expedition 73 will take place. So on your screen are the crew members of the Expedition 73. As of now, on April 19, currently aboard the International Space Station, there are 10 crew members from 3 human space flights, Soyuz MS-26, SpaceX Crew 10, and Soyuz MS-27, and out of which now the Soyuz MS-26 will be departing the International Space Station. Now let's meet the crew aboard the MS-26 spacecraft. Alexey Ovchinin, the commander of Expedition 72. Ovchinin, who made his first space flight back in 2016 on Soyuz TMA-20M, where he also served as a commander for the launch to join the International Space Station as part of Expedition 47-48. Next one is the interesting one because Ovchinin is one who is having a rare experience on a Soyuz launch. On October 11, 2018, Ovchinin and Nick Hague boarded Soyuz MS-10 on way to the International Space Station to join Expedition 57, but the launch was aborted mid-flight due to a booster failure and the crew landed safely after a ballistic descent. During his MS-10 flight, the Soyuz spacecraft aborted at an altitude of around 50 kilometers and reached an apogee of 93 kilometers before landing 19 minutes and 41 seconds after launch. Ovchinin launched to ISS back again on 14 March 2019. traveling on Soyuz MS-12 with American astronaut Nick Hague again and Christina Scotch. Later on, Ovchinin took command of the station for Expedition 60, and that was for a first for him as an ISS commander. Currently, he is a part of Expedition 71 and 72. This I'm saying currently because Expedition 73 will begin upon the undocking of Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft, so which is yet to happen. Where in this Expedition 71 72 he served the role of commander for the second time from March 7, 2025 to April 18, 2025 of yesterday. Now his recent stay aboard this station, being a part of Expedition 71 72, was of 220 days in space, and at the time of his departure he will be having a career total of 595 days in space and having extravehicular time of 13 hours and 18 minutes with a total of 2 extravehicular activities. Now let's meet the next Roscosmos cosmonaut, Ivan Vagner. His maiden spaceflight was in April 2020 as a flight engineer on Soyuz MS-16 mission and Expedition 62-63. During Expedition 63, Wagner and his two crewmates, were scheduled to be on board the International Space Station for the arrival of a number of visiting crewed vehicles. The Expedition 63 crew welcomed the SpaceX Crew Dragon Demo 2 mission for a stay on board the station on 31st May of 2020. That flight marked the first crew test flight of SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft and the first crewed orbital spacecraft to launch from US soil since STS-135, the final flight of the Space Shuttle program in 2011. The mission was crewed by NASA astronaut Doug Hurley and Robert Bob Bacon, who remained on board the International Space Station for 2 months. His current stay aboard the station, a part of Expedition 71 and 72, was of again back like 220 days in space. And at the time of his departure, he will be having a career total of 416 days in space and having EVA time of 7 hours and 17 minutes with 1 EVA performed. Now let's meet our favorite NASA astronaut Don Pettit. Among the trio, NASA astronaut Don, actually his name is Donald, but we call him as Don. So Don Roy Pettit is the most experienced, also aged 69 years. He is NASA's oldest active astronaut. He will be turning 70 on the day of landing. It's an interesting way to have one's birthday to celebrate. Now, Pettit is well known for his orbital astrophotography and in-space inventions such as Zero-G coffee cup, which received the first ever patent for an object invented in space. Pettit's first space mission was as a mission specialist on STS-113 and the Expedition 6 flight engineer. Also, he served in that expedition as the NASA's science officer aboard the ISS in 2002 and 2003. During his 6-month stay aboard the space station, he performed two EVAs to help install external scientific equipment. The Expedition 6, on which he was extended by about 2 months following the loss of Space Shuttle Columbia in February 2003 and the subsequent grounding of the shuttle fleet. Instead of returning on shuttle, the crew returned in a Russian Soyuz capsule, and that marked the first time an American astronaut had launched on space shuttle but landed in a Soyuz. Pettit was a mission specialist on his second space flight aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour on the STS-126 mission to deliver equipments and supplies to the ISS, where he performed various experiments. Again, on his third space flight, Pettit again launched to the orbital outpost on December 21, back in 2011, as part of the Expedition 3031 crew. He and fellow crew members Oleg Konienko and Andrei Kuiper arrived at the ISS on December 23 of 2011. On May 25, 2012, Pettit and Kuipers operated the Canadarm2 to grapple the first SpaceX Dragon 1 and berth it to the Harmony module of the ISS, and that marked the first time a private spacecraft had ever rendezvoused with the ISS. The Dragon capsule was carrying supplies for the ISS, and the successful capture demonstrated the feasibility of using privately developed spacecraft to resupply the station. Pettit was the first to enter the uncrewed supply ship on May 26, making him the first astronaut in the history of space exploration to successfully enter a commercially built and operated spacecraft in orbit. And during the capture, he was quoted saying, "Houston Station, we caught a dragon by the tail." Now he is on his fourth space flight, which is about to conclude. Upon the undocking and landing, at the time of his departure as a part of Expedition 71 and 72, he will be having a career total of 590 days in space, a less of about 5 days compared to Ovchinin, and having EVA time of 13 hours and 17 minutes with a total of 2 extravehicular activities. Now we are just left 1 minute and 36 seconds from the webcast to begin. This Soyuz MS-26 space 26 MS-26 mission, which spanned 220 days in space, where Pettit and his crewmates have orbited the Earth 3,520 times and completed a journey of 93.3 million miles over the course of their mission. The Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft launched and docked to the station on September 11, 2024. And now they are preparing for their comeback to Earth. After they will be having their landing, The three crew members will fly on a helicopter from the landing site to the recovery staging city of the Karaganda, Kazakhstan. Pettit will board a NASA plane and return to the Houston, while Ovchinin and Vagner will depart for a training base in Star City, Russia. Now please allow us a couple of seconds to check whether the webcast has started or not. Well, yes, so let's move on to the webcast page, and let me set up the stream for you. Well, it is yet to start, and yes, it started. Let them have the audio feed, and I will patch the audio feed for you guys.
Good afternoon from the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Mission Control, overlooking the work being conducted with their counterparts at the Russian Mission Control Center, half a world away, at the Russian International Space Station Flight Control Room in the town of Korolyov on the outskirts of Moscow. We are currently 25 minutes away from the undocking command, the command that will open up the hooks holding the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft to the Roscosmos module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. A minute and a half after the undocking command is issued, those hooks will open. Springs on both sides of the docking interface will push off against one another, and the Soyuz MS-26 will be free of the station and will begin its journey home to carry back to Earth NASA's Don Pettit and Roscosmos cosmonauts Alexey Ovchinin and Ivan Vagner to wrap up 220 days in space, a mission of 3,520 orbits and 93.3 million statute miles. When the crew has landed on the steppe of Kazakhstan at 8:20 p.m. Central Time this evening, which will be 6:20 a.m. Kazakhstan time shortly after dawn on Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, at the landing site, Don Pettit will have logged 220 days in space on this mission, 590 days in space on his 4 flights, landing Kazakhstan time on his 70th birthday. Alexey Ovchinin will have logged 220 days in space and 595 days in space on his 4 flights. Ivan Vagner will have logged 220 days in space and a total of 416 days in space on his 2 missions to the International Space Station. This crew, which launched and arrived at the station last September 11th, has seen the arrival of 6 visiting vehicles, the departure of 7 other visiting vehicles during their time aboard the station.
I would like to welcome Bani Umayaf and Duncan back again for joining us. Thanks to both of you, Bani and Duncan. And I don't know why you guys retracted the messages you sent there. And right now on your screen are the moments when the Soyuz MS-26 crew was about to get in the spacecraft, Soyuz spacecraft, as they were bidding their final goodbyes to the crew who will be staying back on the International Space Station. And Duncan, yes, it's 30 years since when he got selected in NASA. And as I said before, Don Pettit is the most oldest active astronaut as of now, and today he will be 70th year old. He's right now 69 years old. On your screen you can see Onishi greeting the Soyuz MS-26 crew members. Ovchinin still leaving the station, but he is managing things around there. I think still he's like having the sense of that commandership. This is Nicole Ayers. Previously was an Annie McLean, and I think next up will be the Johnny Kim. Yes, with this tattoo I can understand that it's Johnny Kim, NASA astronaut who recently got launched on the Soyuz MS-27 spacecraft. And right now there are two Soyuz spacecraft being docked at the International Space Station. One is Soyuz MS-26, another is Soyuz MS-27. Out of that, Soyuz MS-26 is preparing for its departure, heading back to Earth. Now, those of you who are joining us, once again, thanks for joining us on our stream. Here at AstroYonder, adding value to your viewing experience is our top priority. If you feel we somewhat achieved that, please consider liking this stream. It really helps YouTube's algorithm bring in more space enthusiasts like you and helps others to find this stream. Also consider subscribing to our channel as we work hard to bring you stream packed with stats, details, and insights. We would be incredibly grateful for your support. Right now it's 3:07 AM here from where I'm streaming. So you can understand that we work hard for you guys to have a better experience of viewing in any live event which we are covering. So that's a request. If you guys feel that we deserve a like, then please consider giving this stream a like.
Circumference of the hatchway from Roscosmos to the Soyuz, making sure no foreign object debris was present before that hatch was closed to provide a clean interface for the leak checks that occurred about 2.5 hours ago. Those leak checks resulted in an airtight seal between the two vehicles. The vestibule depressurized down to vacuum, setting the stage for the undocking of Soyuz from Roscosmos here coming up within minutes.
These views you are watching on your screen are from the previous event of the hatch closure of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft. Now you will be seeing the hatch will be getting closed, and you can see the key on Sergei's hand. Now he will be closing the hatch with that key.
And there you saw the replay of the hatch closure that separated the departing trio of Pettit, Ovchinin, and Vagner from the rest of the station crew. You see the remaining 7 crew members in this Expedition 73 crew portrait. From left to right, Kirill Peskov, Johnny Kim, Nicole Ayers, Sergei Ryzhikov, Anne McLean, Alexey Zabritsky, and the new space station commander, Takoya Onishi, of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, who took over command of the station from Alexey Ovchinin yesterday in a change of command ceremony. The actual demarcation point for the end of Expedition 72 and the start of Expedition 73 will come at the time of physical separation between the two vehicles just 18 minutes from now.
So we are currently 18 minutes away from the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft undocking. Now let me just give you a rough idea how a Soyuz spacecraft departs from the International Space Station. But just to remind you guys, it's a really well choreographed and carefully, you can say carefully choreographed sequence involving precise technical and operational procedures. Now, before undocking, the Soyuz crew completes various pre-departure tasks. The crew ensures all systems on board the Soyuz are functioning correctly. Well, let me first explain this. Now on your screen, you saw just the three modules of the Soyuz spacecraft being separated, and only the descent module, that is the middle section of the spacecraft, uh, having an re-entry, and then this parachute deployment, and with that a safe landing. Also, I will be talking about that in more details. So let me just recap for you guys. Before undocking, the Soyuz crew completes various pre-departure tasks. The crew ensures all systems on board the Soyuz are functioning correctly, including the life support, navigation, and communication systems. These checks are also include inspecting the docking system and seals for any abnormalities. Here, seals means for those hatch to not having any leaks. For that, crew members don their so-called spacesuit, which are essential for protecting in case of cabin depressurization during re-entry. They also check the seat belts and the helmet connections. Any cargo or experiments returning to Earth are loaded into the Soyuz previously. Additionally, sensitive scientific data and personal items are secured. Farewell and hatch closure, where the departing crew says goodbye to the remaining ISS crew. We just had the view, we got the view of that in this stream as well. These are the vehicles which will be on your screen right now. These are the vehicles which will be utilized to follow the recovery operations upon the landing of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft in Kazakhstan. Now the hatches, I was at that point of the farewell and the hatch closure. So then the hatches between the ISS and the Soyuz are closed, and pressure integrity checks are performed to ensure no air leakage between the two modules being left. Now comes the undocking procedure, which we are currently waiting for, maybe less than 15 minutes away from that. Here, as we just heard previously on the stream, that they will be sending an command for the undocking. I'm coming to that point, but let me say from the beginning that about 1 to 2 hours before undocking, the Soyuz switches to autonomous control mode using its internal systems for navigation and maneuvering. Command for the undocking will be sent at a designated time by the mission control located in Moscow for a Russian segment, which you can see on your screen right now. We will be sending this command for the undocking. The Soyuz spacecraft is also capable to initiate the command if it is under full autonomous control. Followed that, the first critical mechanical step is the release of the hooks and latches that keep the Soyuz firmly attached to the International Space Station. These are motorized latches that disengage gradually to ensure smooth separation. Soyuz is equipped with a docking probe that extends to meet the ISS docking port during attachment. At undocking, this probe retracts, pulling the Soyuz slightly away from the station. Once the mechanical latches are released, the spring-loaded pushers mounted on the docking interface gently push the Soyuz away from the International Space Station, and this creates a very slow drift of about 0.1 to 0.2 meters per second, ensuring that the spacecraft begins to move away without causing any disturbances. Although the undocking is typically autonomous, the Soyuz commander can manually control the spacecraft if necessary, using a hand controller to guide the craft's orientation and speeds. It's similar like just of the SpaceX Dragon. There also the undocking and docking is taking place autonomously, but anytime the manual control of the Dragon spacecraft can be done. In case of a cargo launch, that manual control will be happening from the mission control back in Hawthorne, California. Now, let's come back to this Soyuz. I'm going to that way Dragon. Now, after initial separation, the Soyuz enters a brief period of station keeping at a safe distance, typically around 20 to 30 meters from the International Space Station. This pause allows controllers to verify that the spacecraft is functioning correctly and on proper trajectory. During this time, Soyuz system confirms that all parameters are nominal and any required adjustments are being made that time. After station keeping, the Soyuz performed the separation burn to increase the distance from the ISS. Small thrusters fires for a short time, lasting usually around 15 to 30 seconds to push the spacecraft further away at a faster speed. The Soyuz increases its velocity to ensure it safely moves away from the International Space Station without recontact, and this burn typically results in the Soyuz traveling about 0.5 meters per second faster relative to the International Space Station.
On their extravehicular mobility units or U.S. spacesuits in advance of a scheduled spacewalk that they will
That
conduct.
was all about the preparation for the undocking. Rest the deorbit burn and the landing I'm not saying because now it's not the event we are here for.
April 21. The next SpaceX cargo vehicle, the CRS-32 cargo ship, will be launched from Launch Pad 39A at the Kennedy Space Center on a Falcon 9 rocket to deliver almost 7,000 pounds of supplies to the Expedition 73 crew on board the International Space Station. Our coverage on Monday morning on NASA Plus will begin at 3:55 a.m. Central Time, 4:55 a.m. Eastern Time, for a launch at 4:15 a.m. Eastern Time.
Well, the stream for the SpaceX launch of CRS-32, that is a 32nd commercial resupply services mission to the International Space Station. That live stream is also there on our channel, so don't forget to check it out. We would love to have you there as well.
That SpaceX cargo vehicle, the Cargo Dragon, with docking scheduled at 7:20 a.m. Central Time, 8:20 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, April 22nd.
Parameters, the combined property parameters are nominal. Copy. Combined propulsion unit parameters are all nominal.
Once again, just to interrupt you guys, when the view from the external cameras about on board the International Space Station will be showing the views of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft's departure, that is the undocking from the International Space Station. I will be turning off my webcam view so that you can enjoy a good view of that.
Now 6.5 minutes away from the issuance of the undocking command.
So we are now less than 7 minutes, like nearly about 6 minutes away from the undocking command to be issued. Well, welcome, Bob Tripika. Thanks for tuning in.
As the International Space Station flies almost directly over New Delhi,
Yes, sir.
moving from southwest and northeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator, we are approaching an orbital sunrise.
Command sent.
Bob Tripika, most of those views from the cameras there on the spacecraft, even on Dragon, you will see this kind of 60s kind of looks.
Copy. You can send the command many times as required. Just send it one more time. The AGC command. Right now the image is good. The 2 is not illuminated. S16 is not illuminated. Copy.
Once the undocking occurs, the physical separation scheduled at 4:57 and 30 seconds p.m. Central Time.
Send
About 3 minutes later, there will be the first of 2 separation burns, an 8-second burn of the Soyuz engines, followed a minute and 20 seconds later by a 15-second separation 2 burn that will accelerate the Soyuz away from the International Space Station's Rosviet module. And now in view, a good look at the Soyuz MS-26. At the very top of the screen, that's the instrumentation and propulsion module, the white section that also accommodates the solar arrays. At the very bottom, the bulbous section is the orbital module. And in the middle, that's where the crew is strapped in, the descent module with Soyuz commander Alexey Ovchinin in the center seat, flanked to his left by Ivan Vagner, and to his right by Don Pettit.
Or are you getting the image? Please repeat your last. The AGC. No need for now. Let's wait for sunrise. We might need it at that point.
Now we are getting some good views from the external cameras on the International Space Station. We can see both the Soyuz vehicles being docked to the station. We are waiting for the command issuance. The mission control Moscow will be sending the undocking command on the Soyuz, or the Soyuz commander can trigger it from inside the capsule if the mission is running autonomously. The Soyuz active docking mechanism, that is the probe and the broke system, features mechanical hooks and latches that secures the spacecraft to the International Space Station. These are released sequentially using the motorized systems to free the Soyuz from the docking port. When the hooks are released, the spring-loaded pushers gently move the Soyuz away from the ISS at a very low speed of about 0.12 to 2.15 meters per second, which you can say 12 to 15 centimeters per second. This is quite slow, but it's for the safety of the spacecraft and the station. This ensures that the spacecraft drifts safely away without creating any sudden acceleration that could destabilize the station.
All station systems are go for undocking. The Russian flight control team is receiving data from the Soyuz vehicle as we approach the 2-minute mark until the undocking command is issued.
1 minute until the 7 command time.
Yes, we are getting 1 minute away from the
Command status now.
undocking command issuance.
Yes, we're going to give you further recommendations. Copy.
And we're in a brief handover between satellites on the tracking and data relay satellite system. We'll get our downlink video back just a moment or two from now.
15 seconds to the 7 command.
Just 15 seconds away.
Zero 5500. The 7 command was sent. SSVP power confirmed. Hooks closed. Latches retracted. Inaudible not illuminated. The 11, the 15, the 17, S13, all of those are illuminated. The S8 is illuminated.
This view from an external camera on the Soyuz vehicle as we are 30 seconds away from the issuance of the undocking command.
Yes, we confirm that you are going to send the command at the specified time. Copy.
We are yet to send the command.
15 seconds remaining to the 17 command. Zero. Ignorable. The 17 command sent. The 15 is not illuminated.
And the command has been issued. The Soyuz hooks are now driving open.
Illuminated. Okay, the repress indication is illuminated. Copy.
All systems on both Soyuz and the International Space Station are go, as the process has begun for physical separation that will be occurring a moment or two from now.
The temperature is 15 degrees, then it's jumping back and forth. Copy.
Less than 1 minute or so, the Soyuz active docking mechanism, which involves the probe and broke system, featuring the mechanical hooks and latches that secures the spacecraft to the station. They will be released sequentially using the motorized systems to free the Soyuz from the docking port. Hope we will be getting that view sooner. And at the time of undocking, the spring-loaded pushers, and there we go. We have the physical undocking of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft.
5:57 p.m. Eastern Time as Soyuz and the station flew 260 miles over southern Mongolia.
Illuminated. Please monitor and make sure that there are no foreign objects in the docking mechanism area. Yes, I continue visual monitoring, no foreign objects in the docking port area. Copy.
You can see how slowly the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft is drifting away from the station.
Expedition 73 officially underway.
Well, yes, with this undocking, now the Expedition 73 started. And this low speed of Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft is about 0.12 to 0.15 meters per second, which I said that 12 to 15 centimeters per second. This ensures the spacecraft drift safely away without creating any sudden acceleration that could destabilize the station, also deviating from its trajectory for return. Or at the very perfect time it got undocked. Just we had the sunrise there at the orbital outpost. We got an amazing view at the time of undocking. We could see Earth beneath, not beneath, at the background of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft.
Till the first burn.
Oh well, I forgot to turn off the camera. Wait, stop. Please enjoy these spectacular views of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft getting undocked. Also would like to welcome Fairmaid, one of our moderators joining us here. Hello Fairmaid, I hope you are doing fine. I know it's getting, I think, afternoon at your place.
Will be maneuvered back to its regular orientation from the undocking orientation as the Expedition 73 crew, now christened,
10 seconds till
begins to move into a
activation.
pre-sleep period.
Thruster activation confirmed.
Soyuz thrusters now activated, and the first burn is underway.
For the burn, we see the maneuver, roll maneuver.
Roll maneuver in progress.
Now you can see the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft getting maneuvered. And let me say you the technical side of this. Here the DPO thrusters, the orbital maneuver engines, will fire for a series of separation burns. These low thrust engines use nitrogen tetroxide as an oxidizer and unsymmetrical dimethyl hydrazine, which is also known in short UDMH, as the fuel, producing thrust to increase the distance from the ISS. The first separation burn increases the relative velocity between the ISS and the Soyuz to about 0.5 meters per second. Followed that, we will have the station keeping. After the initial backway, Soyuz will enter a brief period of station keeping at around 20 to 30 meters from the International Space Station. During this time, mission control checks that the spacecraft systems are functioning correctly and that it is on the correct trajectory.
We confirm the activation of the thrusters were on for 15 seconds.
And the second separation burn complete and good.
The 18 command.
Now about the second separation burn, which is, we just heard that it is completed and it went well. So this second separation burn is performed after station keeping, accelerating the Soyuz further away from the ISS. This burn increases the distance between the spacecraft and the ISS to several kilometers, ensuring a safe margin for the deorbit operation.
Press is no longer illuminated. E1 has already been sent. Dynamic mode disabled, and now we are selecting the POK1 A11 command. A11 command sent.
Well, Fairmaid and Pop Tropica, you guys are in a good time, I must say. I'm in a bad time. It's 3:34 a.m. here. And really I'm feeling sleepy, and as I said, you both guys, that I'm going through a lot. but still I'm managing myself to stream for you guys.
And S11 and D17 are no longer illuminated. We are deactivating the headlights. S18.
Those instructions through the interpreter being relayed to Alexey Ovchinin, the Soyuz commander, in the center seat of the Soyuz descent module, flanked to his left by Yvonne Vagner and Don Pettit on his right. Post undocking procedures to place the Soyuz in position for its departure from the station to an ultimate distance of about 41 kilometers for the deorbit burn that is scheduled 2 hours and 22 minutes from now.
0103. We have the LED illuminated. Rotational hand controller final approach is no longer illuminated, and translational hand controller is currently in the transport position.
Well, Fairman, you are cracking a joke, or seriously you are saying in the middle of night you feel great to see me here? Well, that's a good kind of comment what Pop Tripica made, but don't wish for me that I should be staying middle of the night and streaming. Really, it's hard. But anyways, I was joking as well a little. And I'm really happy to see you guys with me here, and it really gives me an satisfaction that my hard work is getting noticed by you guys at least.
Hand controller has been stowed, and I'm ready to activate the video system. Burlaki, currently keep the video system on. All right, we'll stand by for your go. You will need to send the command to set RRG to 8 degrees. Sending L13, Lima 13 command, and set it to 8. 0630, the command has been sent. The LED is illuminated.
These are some of the commands being sent from the mission control at Moscow to the Soyuz MS spacecraft's commander, who is Alexey Ovchinin, who will be taking those steps required to ensure these commands will be followed on board the spacecraft.
This is Mission Control Houston.
And next up will be the deorbit burn, that it will be taking place after several hours of undocking. Soyuz, not so many, like it will be like a 3-hour journey. So here Soyuz reaches a point in the orbit where it is positioned to perform the deorbit burn. That is a critical maneuver that will slow down the spacecraft enough to begin its descent towards Earth. This burn happens about half an orbit before re-entry over a specific location to ensure it lands at the designated recovery site. The Soyuz uses its main engine to execute the burn, which lasts around 4 to 5 minutes. The spacecraft must reduce its velocity by approximately 115 meters per second to begin descending from orbit. Then comes another critical part, that is the module separation. And let me just here on your screen you can see the Soyuz spacecraft And as I will be saying about the module separation, that's why I'm making this to show you guys, and also that feed from the ISS is now not there on your screen. It's the mission control from Moscow. So I hope you won't mind me showing this slide for you guys. So here the Soyuz consists of three modules: the orbital module, the descent module, and the service module. Just before the re-entry, explosive bolts separate the three modules. Orbital module, that is the upper section, contains living space and is discarded as it is no longer needed. Now this is first let me show you this. You will be understanding which one I'm talking about. The first one, which is the upper section, orbital module, living space. Next up is the service module, the lower section that contains engines, fuel tanks, and solar arrays. This also will be discarded. It means that it will be jettisoned. The middle section, that is the descent module, is the only module that re-enters the atmosphere carrying the crew. The re-entry of the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft will be following the same procedure. The Soyuz descent module is protected by an ablative heat shield which burns away as it encounters atmospheric friction. Temperatures outside the spacecraft can reach up to 1600 what is happening 1006,000 degrees, but the crew remains safe inside the module. So we will be waiting for that webcast to come, and that webcast will be beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern Daytime with the deorbit burn scheduled for 8:26 p.m. Eastern Daytime and the landing scheduled for 9:20 p.m. Eastern Daytime. So we will be seeing you guys there. As of now, Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft is on its way back to Earth after having a successful undocking from the International Space Station. So with that, we will wrap our coverage for now, but make sure that you follow up with the re-entry and the landing stream for the MS-26 spacecraft, because that is the most interesting part, at least for me. And also for tomorrow, the SpaceX launch of NROL 145 and the launch of CRS 32 mission. The next day, those streams are all posted on our channel, so be sure to check them out. We would love to have you again there with us. With that, we will wrap up our coverage for now. Would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to Pop Topeka and Fairmed for joining us, both of our moderators. Also, well, I forgot to address Maria for joining us. Thanks, Maria, for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. Also, would like to thank Duncan Stewart for tuning in back again. So, yep, with that, we will be wrapping up the coverage for the undocking. We will be again streaming the event for the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft re-entry and landing. We want to thank you all for wherever you are watching our live coverage. Thanks for your continued support of what we do here at AstroYonder. Be sure to check out our social media handle on X for the latest happening in space industry and updates on upcoming launches. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and also I hope that I could add some value to your viewing experience. We appreciate everyone joining us for today's event. Wishing you a nice week ahead. Once again, thanks for watching. This is AstroYonder Live and me, Dipto, sign off for now, and we will see you next time.